everyone, welcome to another great episode of Yolk'd, where we cover your tech news, gadget news, and finally some good news about Windows.
That's right, Kyle, but first off I wanted to start with a warning to our viewers out there at home. Today happens to be opposite day. Fortunately, I have wired up this power supply to the universe, which allows me to turn opposite day on or off. As you can see, it's currently in the off position. I'll go ahead and switch it on. And as you can see, Kyle has now become Jenny, who is the opposite of Kyle.
No, Paul, I'm still Jenny. That's not plugged into anything. Kyle is unfortunately home with bubonic plague. We, of course, wish him well. Our hearts go out to him as he watches Yolk'd today from his bed.
You know, I think that actually means that you hate Kyle and you want him to get sicker.
Paul, just... Ubisoft's sandbox hack and shooter Watch Dogs has been delayed until April of 2014. The highly anticipated game, which first stole the show back at E3 in 2012, was slated to arrive as a launch title for next-gen consoles PlayStation 4 and Xbox One until Ubisoft released a statement admitting they need, quote, the extra time to polish and fine-tune each detail so we can deliver a truly memorable and exceptional experience. I can't help but wonder if the record-breaking success of GTA 5 had anything to do with the delay.
I plan to feast upon your entrails in a bloody ritual by the light of... Thanks for that incisive report, Kyle. We now move on to my new segment, Tech News I Don't Care About. Here are my picks from this week's tech articles, sorted for your convenience in descending order from tripe to drivel. Apple is sending invitations for a special event on October 22nd, amidst reports and leaked photos of a new iPad 5, iPad Mini 2, and Mac Pro. They've also hired former Burberry CEO Angela Ahrendts in a bid to reaffirm their commitment to selling needlessly pretty things for 4 to 5 times what they are worth. Amazon and HTC are apparently in cahoots to produce a smartphone which will be totally different and new. They promise. And finally, Intel made some money in Q3 and plans to make more money in Q4.
The long-awaited release of Windows 8.1 is here, with a slew of new features that seek to rectify some of the shortcomings found in Windows 8. The most talked about feature probably being the ability to boot to the desktop instead of the Start menu. Coming in a close second is the triumphant return of the Windows Start button. Once again, users will be able to quickly access programs, system settings, device manager, and power down the computer in 30 clicks or less. Other new features include the option to choose default apps for your web browser or media players and the ability to disable those pesky hot corners. It almost seems as though the latest version of Windows is actually reverting back to the ways of Windows 7, which quite frankly isn't surprising given the harsh criticism Microsoft initially received for dramatically redesigning its user interface. Windows 8.1, more like Windows 7.9. In a peacemaking gesture, the latest version of the OS comes free for current Windows 8 users.
If you felt a disturbance in the force last month, almost as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in the throes of a most epic nerdgasm, it's probably because scientists may have actually invented the lightsaber. Light, or photons as the French like to say, is difficult to form together into a saber-like shape that can be used to slice off arms at the Mos Eisley spaceport, but an intrepid team of physicists from Harvard and MIT may have found a way. The work is still in the early phases, so no lightsabers, light broadswords, or light scimitars are currently available on the Newegg marketplace, but you can read more in their seductively titled report, Attractive Photons in a Quantum Nonlinear Medium. Definitely not safe for work.
Hey guys, I'm Joanne, bringing you this week's announcements. If you haven't spotted it yet, check the link in this video's description for our latest Newegg TV giveaway. It's the Get Excited for BlizzCon Super Combo Sweepstakes, where we have 3 full systems that we'll be sending out to 3 lucky winners. You don't even have to be excited for BlizzCon to enter. The builds were put together by Steve, Kyle, and Jenny in our latest 3-2-1 build race. I wasn't allowed to participate. I guess they were afraid I might make them look bad. If you're looking for more free stuff, we have a $1,000 Newegg gift card up for grabs over on our Facebook page. This sweeps will start on Friday, October 18th, and all you need to do is submit a 15-second video reenacting your favorite horror scene from film or television. Go to facebook.com/Newegg for all the details starting Friday. That's all for announcements. Next up is Steve with Take My Money.
No thanks, Joanne. Are you a miser and don't like to spend any money? Yes, 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 no, 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 Paul. Sorry guys, what I meant to say is, do you have money just burning a hole in your pocket? Well, let's throw some gas on that fire. This is the Asus Radeon R9 280X DirectCU 2 top. It has a pumped-up Tahiti core housing 2,048 shader units, 32 render output units, a total of 4,310,000,000 transistors. The GPU is factory overclocked by JJ himself to 1070 MHz, and you also get 3 GB of GDDR5 memory clocked at 1600 MHz on a 384-bit memory bus. AMD's 28nm GCN architecture was built for DirectX 11.2 and ready for 4K displays. Get yours now by clicking this link. And now over to you, Jenny, while I try to sneak this out of the office.
Some notable videos surfaced on the web this week, the first of which demonstrates a car covered with a new heat-reactive paint that changes color based on temperature. As you can see here, the custom paint job changes from black to orange as the surface of the car gets warmer. Functional uses of this paint range from scaring the employees at the car wash, diagnosing color blindness, and knowing when your car's on fire. In other video news, Sony released a captivating commercial for their PS4 which follows two friends and their surreal journey through different worlds as they duel, ram each other off the road, and blow each other up, all while singing a soft, endearing song about their beloved PS4. Meanwhile, Microsoft is still deciding whether or not a Kinect will be required to view their upcoming Xbox One commercial.
My next story is titled simply, How to Run Internet Explorer on Mac OS X. What just happened?
Paul, I think you just broke Yolk'd.
Okay. Can we like Alt Control Delete? Okay, we're gonna reboot and go with a different story. Okay. Here's a tech report blog from Cyril Kowalski talking about some AMD and Valve related stuff. Basically, we have a bunch of recent video gaming announcements, and we're within weeks of the new consoles coming out. And this article is kind of piecing it all together with what I would call a bit of a negative outlook. The article's title is, Are Valve and AMD About to Ruin PC Gaming? So prior to AMD announcing the R7 and R9 series with Mantle, and Valve announcing the Linux-powered Steam OS, the potential was for a bit more hegemony in the video game landscape. All consoles would be x86 based, all games would use DirectX 11 as their API. Cyril's take on SteamOS and AMD's Mantle is that it adds more complexity to the development space, since games might now be played on a console, a Windows system, or a Linux system. AMD's Mantle API, which is designed to help development of games on all platforms, but really provides most of its benefits to PC users, also adds another possible API to the mix, again, fragmenting development. I'm personally quite optimistic about the future of SteamOS and Mantle, but the article did bring up some important questions. If game developers are hampered by the extra work it might take to bring their title to all platforms, it might result in fewer features, or take us back to the frustration of titles that are launched exclusively on a specific platform or console. PC gaming has been flourishing in the past few years as the current consoles have aged, so throwing a curveball right as the PS4 and Xbox One come out might not be ideal. At the same time, SteamOS offers freedom from Windows, which I know there's growing interest in, as well as the possibility of PC gaming hardware options that are truly competitive from a price standpoint. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Are cross-platform game titles important to you? Are you excited about the possibilities of SteamOS? And if Mantle gains traction with game developers, what will it mean for our old friend NVIDIA, who also just happened to announce the GTX 780 Ti? Leave your comments in the comments section down below. And on that note, Kyle and I would just like to state that we loathe every single one of our fans. We despise making videos here for our YouTube channel, and we particularly hate feedback. In fact, I dislike the like button almost as much as I like the dislike button.
Paul, how can you say anything so negative?
Kyle, it's opposite day.
Dude, the switch is off. And with that, of course, Paul, means that we appreciate all of your loyal fanship. Please like our videos, leave us some comments, and definitely subscribe to our various YouTube channels. Until next time, this is Paul.
And this is Kyle.
And you've just been Yolk'd.